Hey everyone, I wanted to hop on here and make a quick video. I don't know if it's going to be quick, but I wanted to talk about what I've been exploring lately and begin to explore the path on which I've been trying to navigate these last few years and summarize everything I've been through with writing and with self-inquiry, and beginning to come to some conclusions with some of that. So I wanted to share that with you guys. Over the last 13 years or so, I've been interested in exploring experience. I think this first started with me leaving my corporate job in 2015 on accident. Thankfully, a happy accident, and has continued to unfold from there. I hiked the Pacific Crest Trail, which is a long trail that goes through the U.S., and it was quite a change of experience because originally I think we can go through life as if feeling as if we are on a set of train tracks, let's say, and our future is destined in undesired ways. And so that was my first experience with breaking free from those train tracks and beginning to explore on my own and feeling some autonomy with my experience. So that led me to also exploring meditation. I attended some Vipassana meditation retreats and where I was taught various meditation techniques that then led into wanting to explore more deeply the self and experience, which led me to Nepal and living with a wise woman and exploring the Himalayas, which is the content of my second book, True Nature. So where this has all led, I think, and continues to unfold and change, but where this has led is my interest in exploring experience, what's going on here, what's happening. So from my direct experience, it seems as if there are two layers to experience. One is the content of experience, and the second is a deeper layer to experience. So speaking first about the content of experience, the content of experience is made up of content. So in this case, we experience thoughts, sensations, and perceptions. You could also say feelings, but these are what I would consider an interpretation of sensations. So a pattern of sensations that we label as thought. So you've got that as the what we tend to identify as our primary experience, and also the second level, the deeper level, which I would call true nature at this point. I think what it's called is less important than what it's pointing to. So you could call it true nature, you could call it oneness with the universe, you could call it God. What it's called is much less important than the awareness of it and the understanding. You could even call it awareness. You could call it so many different things. But what I find is that awareness is the space of rest, the space of peace, the space of oneness that really is what we're seeking. So on the level of content, the more you observe content, the more you begin to realize that its fundamental principles and the nature of the content, which is that the content has a selfless quality to it. It can be observed from a seemingly objective experience. It has impermanent nature to it, so that you can observe that the sensations and the thoughts are always changing. And you can observe that the perceptions are also always changing. And that the third characteristic of this is that attachment to these thoughts, sensations, perceptions, and in some cases also aversion to them, causes suffering. So this is what Buddhism calls the 3 marks of existence. And I'm resonating more and more with this way of understanding. I think it can be a lot of this stuff can easily be confused with philosophy and thought, but I do think this can also be approached from direct experience. Like everything that I'm saying, you can experience yourself. And in fact, I don't want you to be, listening and making me as an authority on this subject. This is something that each of us needs to investigate on our own. I think this is where this is the direction that I'm heading. This is why I've written the books that I've written, is attempting to understand this, because language is all that we have to connect with each other, or it's a big part of how us humans survive and connect with each other. So I think the story is the vehicle for the message in this case, that no matter what book I'm writing, this is going to be kind of the underlying pointing out, is that there is a deeper level to experience that is the place in which we can find peace and rest and happiness, but not in an emotional type of way of thinking about happiness, but more in a much deeper sort of fulfillment. So, I look back on my first book, The Trail Provides. What am I saying with that word, or with that slogan? I think it's that if we are searching for quality, for truth, then we will find. And then, with my second book, True Nature, I think the conclusion that I've arrived at is finding that place. There's this guy, Dan Harris, who I enjoy listening to and reading. He wrote this book called 10% Happier. His hypothesis is that through the practice of meditation, we can become 10% happier. And I would even, I think he mentions this also in the book, but why not continue to push it further? Why can you not become 20% happier through meditation? And at what point does that end? So can you become 90% happier? How much suffering is it possible to eliminate? And not really thinking of it as elimination, right? But as a byproduct of observing yourself. Because when we begin to think of elimination of suffering as the goal, then I think we're missing the mark. That elimination of suffering could be a byproduct of the search, but understanding that suffering is a useful tool, it's an intelligence of the mind to point us to the things that we are not, and to show us, okay, we're attached to the content of experience. Now it's time to return to the deeper level, our true nature, God. So I'm beginning to connect some dots here, and I just wanted to share this message with you guys. Yeah, I'm not sure where this is leading, but part of me was also a bit nervous about giving a book talk. And so I kind of wanted to just hop on here and attempt to flesh out some of these thoughts and attempt to clarify them for future talks. So thanks for being the guinea pigs for this. I hope this was helpful and useful. If you enjoyed this video, consider following my weekly newsletter that I've started. I'm basically just sharing insights, weekly insights, and self-inquiry questions that helped prompt experiencing your true nature and managing the content of experience. So again, I don't consider myself to be an expert in any of this. Much of these questions can be better directed towards people who have studied this much longer, teachers. I consider myself very much a student who is sharing his journey and sharing the process of what I'm experiencing and what I'm learning. So, yep, I appreciate you guys. Much love, and I hope that all is well. Cheers.